My sister uninvited me after I helped plan her entire wedding. So, I canceled all the reservations, leaving her in panic. I'm 27. I never thought I'd be writing this, but here I am, trying to make sense of what just happened with my family. I suppose I should start from the beginning, though some days I wish I could just forget it all. I was adopted by the Hensons when they couldn't have children of their own. I remember the day they brought me home. My new mom had tears in her eyes as she showed me my room, decorated in soft pinks and yellows. "This is all for you," she'd said, holding my small hand. "Welcome home, sweetheart." At first, things were good, not perfect, but I felt loved, and that meant everything to a child who came from an orphanage. I still remember my dad teaching me to ride a bike, his strong hands steady on the seat as he ran alongside me. "You're doing great, princess. Just keep pedaling." But when I was 4, everything changed. My mom got pregnant with my sister Jenny, and suddenly, it was like I became invisible. I remember the day they told me the news, their faces glowing with excitement. "We're going to have a baby," my mom had announced, hands clasped over her stomach. "You're going to be a big sister." I was excited too, at first. But as mom's belly grew, their attention toward me shrank. The bedtime stories stopped. The proud smiles when I showed them my drawings faded. It was subtle at first, but soon undeniable. They didn't say it outright, but their actions made it clear. I had just been a placeholder until they could have their real child. The emotional neglect was constant. They still provided for my basic needs, but the love that had once been there vanished. I remember one particularly painful moment when I was 7. I'd won first place in the school science fair, and I couldn't wait to tell them. But when I got home, waving my blue ribbon,
Mom, Dad.
"Look what I won." "That's nice, honey," my mom had said distractedly, not even looking up from where she was cooing at Jenny. Jenny just said her first full sentence. Isn't she brilliant? Even Jenny, as she grew up, treated me like a stranger rather than a sister. When she was old enough to understand that I was adopted, she made sure I knew exactly how she felt about it. "You're not really my sister," she told me one day when I tried to play with her dolls. "Mommy said you're adopted. That means you're not really family." I was 12 then, old enough to understand the cruelty in her words, but young enough that they still cut deep. By my teenage years, I started pulling away. It was easier to be alone or with friends than to face the constant reminder that I wasn't really part of the family. My room became my sanctuary, and I threw myself into my studies, determined to build a future where I wouldn't need their approval. The day I turned 18, I moved out. I still remember my dad's dismissive shrug when I told them I was leaving. "If that's what you want," he'd said, barely looking up from his newspaper. "Just don't expect us to support you if things don't work out." We didn't cut ties completely. I still showed up for holidays and kept in touch, but I kept them at arm's length. Every visit was an exercise in maintaining polite conversation while ignoring the undercurrent of tension. Then I met Henry. He was different from anyone I'd ever known, warm, understanding, and completely devoted to making me feel loved. The first time he met my family, he noticed something was off. "They seem distant," he'd said carefully on the drive home. "Is it always like that?" I remember breaking down then, telling him everything. Instead of judgment, he offered understanding and support. That's when I knew he was the one. Now I have a good life with Henry. He's shown me what real family support feels like, and I've built a career I'm proud of. But recently, things took an unexpected turn. Jenny got engaged to Peter, and suddenly my family started reaching out. My mom's call caught me off guard. "Honey," she'd said, her voice syrupy sweet. "We need your help with Jenny's wedding. You're so good with organization, and well, we could use some financial assistance too." They wanted me to help with wedding preparations and even assist with the costs. My parents were insistent about my participation, painting it as this big family affair. The weird part? Jenny herself barely said anything. It was all coming from my parents. Henry was cautiously optimistic when I told him about it. "Maybe they're trying to make amends," he suggested. "But be careful, okay? Don't let them hurt you again." After much consideration, I decided to give it a chance. Maybe, I thought, this was their way of trying to rebuild our relationship. What a fool I was. At first, everything seemed perfect. My mom was more affectionate than she'd been in my entire life. She even hugged me, something I couldn't remember her doing since I was very young. Jenny and I started bonding for the first time ever. I know we haven't been close, Jenny had said during one wedding planning session, but I'd really like to change that. You're my sister after all. Those words meant everything to me then. I let my guard down, thinking maybe things were finally changing. Then the requests for money started. First, it was small things, deposits for decorations, venue payments that needed to be made immediately, or they'd lose the reservation. It's just temporary, Jenny would assure me. I'll pay you back as soon as Peter's bonus comes through. You're such a lifesaver, sis. I, desperate for that sisterly connection, kept helping. I had the means, and I wanted to believe in this newfound relationship. Each time she called me sis, it felt like another piece of my childhood dream coming true. But then, after most of the preparations were done and I'd invested significantly in her perfect wedding, Jenny dropped the bomb. She came to my house one evening, looking uncomfortable. About the wedding, she started, not quite meeting my eyes. We've decided to keep it blood family only. Since you're adopted, it wouldn't be appropriate.
You understand, right?
The shock and pain of that moment are hard to describe. All those childhood feelings of being unwanted came rushing back. I just stood there, unable to speak. It's nothing personal, she added quickly. It's just, well, you're not really family. I found my voice then. Not really family? After everything I've done for you? After all the money I've spent? Oh, come on, she scoffed. Don't be dramatic. It's not like you can't afford it. Besides, you should be happy to help your sister. Sister? I laughed bitterly. Funny how I'm your sister when you need money, but not when it comes to actually being family. They hadn't wanted to reconnect, they just wanted to use me. I left without another word, finally understanding that nothing had changed. But I wasn't going to let them get away with it this time. I spent the next day canceling every reservation I'd made for the wedding. Some deposits were lost, but I didn't care. Let them scramble to put together their blood family only celebration. And scramble they did. Jenny had to take out massive loans to reorganize everything at the last minute. The wedding was a disaster compared to what I'd helped plan, and now she's drowning in debt. My parents have been calling nonstop, trying to guilt me into helping pay off Jenny's loans. She's your sister. My mom insisted during one call. How can you be so heartless? Funny, I replied. She didn't consider me her sister when she uninvited me from the wedding.
That was different, my dad chimed in.
You need to be the bigger person here. No, I said firmly. I don't. Ask your blood relatives for help instead. But Jenny wasn't done. Her next move was sending fake photos to Henry, claiming I was cheating on him. She even had the audacity to play the concerned sister. I'm so sorry to have to show you this, she wrote to him. But you deserve to know what kind of person you're engaged to. What Jenny didn't know was that during the wedding preparations, I'd caught her in a compromising position with someone who wasn't Peter. I'd kept quiet then, but after her attempt to ruin my relationship, all bets were off. I sent those photos to Peter with a simple message. Thought you should know who you really married. He filed for divorce immediately. Now Jenny is out of her home, drowning in debt, and our parents won't take her in because they don't want to deal with her financial mess. Her latest move? She's trying to sue our parents, claiming they should have paid for the entire wedding because they're her biological parents and therefore responsible for her happiness. I heard about it from a mutual friend who works at the courthouse. Your sister's lost it, she told me. You should see the lawsuit. She's claiming emotional damages because they made her take out loans instead of paying for her dream wedding. The lawsuit went nowhere, of course. But watching this whole circus unfold from a distance, I finally feel at peace. Last night, Henry found me looking at old family photos. You okay? He asked, sitting beside me. Yeah, I replied, closing the album. I think I finally am. You know what's funny? I spent so many years trying to be part of their family, but I already had a better one right here. He pulled me close, and I felt that familiar warmth that I'd always searched for in my adoptive family, but never found. Sometimes the family you're born into, or in my case, adopted into, isn't the family you end up with. And that's okay. I've learned that it's better to be alone than to keep trying to win the love of people who will never truly accept you. Henry and I are planning our own wedding now. It'll be small, intimate, and filled with people who actually want to be there. And when we have children someday, I promise they'll never have to wonder if they're really family. As for Jenny and my parents, they can keep their blood family only circle. I've finally found where I truly belong.